Internet, it's Gunter with MiniMishaps Games, and today we are going to be building our own role-playing game systems from scratch. So I know that there is a serious conversation in the community about the OGL and D&D and Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and SRD and all kinds of stressful legal implications. And so we're going to take a step back and we are going to look at what this whole channel was about and is about. And I'm here today to remind everybody what it is that draws us to the community, to the games, and that is we get to be around people, we get to create hilarious stories or serious stories or epic stories, and get to be creative. And none of those things are attached to any kind of license. None of those things are attached to any kind of subscription that we have to conform to. So I love creating, and many of you out there love creating, and there's another big group of you out there that want to do this, want to be creative, want to do your own thing, and maybe are scared of what it means or the work that's put in or any number of things that you just haven't sat down and done it, haven't gotten that extra little push. So here it is today. I am pushing all of you guys out there to go create a thing, share the thing with your groups and your friends. And we want to facilitate that. We want to give you tools and answer questions. And so the system that I have been working on for some time, that has kind of gotten a jump start with all of this other conversation, is called the GetherVerse system. And it is going to be a tabletop role-playing game, and it's going to be fantasy based. And so for all of you out there creating systems and games, the first thing to do is create a list of things that you want to include and a list of things that you want to make sure are not included. So for my game, deciding that it's going to stay fantasy, and I might, it might include some content that is steampunk or edging on sci-fi, but the main focus is gonna stay fantasy. So the main tenets of what makes a game is that you need people and you need a rule set that they agree to for playing the game. Then the third thing that isn't a prerequisite but will make the game work or not is if the rules can be learned and expressed in a way that is fun and engaging for the players. We are going to start today with character generation, and I should also preface that the GetherVerse system is going to be a work in progress. So the things that you see in a given video may be updated, may be changed. We're gonna try and integrate your guys' comments and feedback and those of my players and sessions. And so this is a new work in progress. This is not something that we have published yet or are selling yet. And we're gonna try and use it as a baseline for all of you out there that want to create your own systems. So the first thing that we're going to need for character creation is that we're going to decide what characters are able to do in the game. And so in my game, they are going to be able to use their physical persons, their muscles and joints, and they're going to be able to use hand-eye coordination. They're going to be able to use cognitive thinking skills, and they're going to be able to use magic. And those are the main sets of things. And so then once we have decided what those are, we then go about balancing them, integrating them, deciding what specific rules happen on the table and between players and between characters in the game and the players, etc. So, but today on character creation, we're going to focus on what the characters need to be characters. And so we don't need long lists of homebrew spells yet. We don't need long lists of items, ideas, and gear, and all of that stuff. Write it down because it's amazing to be creative. But for the scope of this video, we are simply going to be deciding on the stats of a character, player character. And so a lot of the common systems use 6 stats. Now from D&D or Pathfinder, those you might be familiar with: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. But those actually in those systems aren't the only stats. They just are listed in a way that you perceive them as being 6. But every character has an armor class. Every character has a movement. Every character has a whole list of skills that could be considered resources or stats. And so the changing how that is viewed is really the requirement for moving away from a license or an SRD or an OGL. And that's not to say that once you have started creating characters and places and items that you won't want some sort of copyright or protection for those properties, intellectual properties, but for strictly working in a mechanical sense, none of any of that is copyrightable. So don't be afraid to use mechanics. Be afraid to use proper nouns and place names and character names and specific story arcs and those kinds of things from other games. And you don't need any of that. There is so much inspiration to be taken from historical mythology and literature and entertainment that we have, that it's actually incredibly easy to find a way to build your own characters and things. And the flip side of that is that every story has already been told. So the trope of the old man wizard with the beard is not Gandalf, it's not Dumbledore, it's not M.I.N.D.S. We may not even be Merlin, but they are all, the powerful wizard trope of the old guy with the beard for some reason. That idea is not copyrightable. Your universe can have an old bearded wizard in it. Back to skills required by a character to play the game. Now, if you are wanting to make direct replacements for D&D, then you should use those with a lot of care and caution, that they are not viewed or used or described in the same way. The further you can go from it, the less likely it is you'll be infringing on anything they'll try and go after. So my first big step is to completely just change all of the stats from anything that's expected in that particular system. So instead of a 6 statistic system, we are going to be using a 10 system. Now it's still going to, for my game, roll a 20-sided dice for most of the things. And we'll cover dice mechanics in another video. But it doesn't have to for your game. You can choose any dice combination. It doesn't even have to use dice. It can be story driven. It can be however you want. At this stage, you want to basically choose what are the things that are going to make a character represented in the game. And so my set of 10 will be something that we work out in future videos. But mostly today I wanted to remind everybody that we're in it for the fun. We're in it for the creativity, we're in it for the camaraderie, we're in it for the community, and none of those things relies on any kind of licensing. So go out, go create, go make a thing. Tell us about your ideas and your new creations in the comments. And if you want to see all of our universe, the GetherVerse, is system agnostic, and so it has player characters that have been built in a D&D system. There are player characters that have been built in a Pathfinder system, in a World of Warcraft system, in other gaming mechanics systems, because the world and IPs are the names of things and the stories, and they're not the mechanics. So if you want to check out all of that, the stories that our characters have been creating since at least 2005, I recommend you check out the Discord, which will be linked in the description, as well as the World Anvil Wiki. Now, admittedly, the story archive on the Discord is much more comprehensive. We're still working at getting everything into the wiki, but it is a universe with characters and all these stories that are right now not attached to the need for specific mechanics. Now, I enjoy being a GM and a DM, and so I make the mechanics acceptable and accessible for the storytelling part of the world, because people need to go with what they're used to. But that is not the nature of the GetherVerse. Is completely separate from the need for specific mechanics to operate within it. So I invite you to go check it out, and I invite you to create, and just remember that the people around you are way more important than the system, the mechanics, the licensing, and anything else that they try to have be points of stress. So thanks for staying to the end, and watch for more of these videos. We'll be trying to make this system publishable and operatable maybe in a year, maybe 2 years. Right now we're not pushing real hard, but it is important to us that we remind the community that we're here for you, and we want to make the gaming happen in any way that we can. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Internet.